So the reason I'm making this video is because lately I've been struggling with a lot of negative self-talk, a lot of feelings of worthlessness, self-doubting myself, self-hate, dark thoughts, just not feeling good enough. So if you're watching this, grab a pen and paper or press pause and watch it when you have a little bit more time because it's going to be long. Okay. So the page that I opened up today was, this part is actually for the manual teachers, but I think anyone could benefit from it. So that's why I'm sharing it. Expedient to spend this time earlier, at least be sure that you do not forget a brief period, not more than a moment will do, in which you close your eyes and think of God. There is one thought in particular that should be remembered throughout the day. It is the thought of pure joy, a thought of peace, a thought of limitless release, limitless because all things are freed within it. You think you made a place of safety for yourself. You think you made a power that can save you from all the fearful things you see in dreams. It is not so. Your safety lies not there. What you give up is merely the illusion of protecting illusions. And it is this you fear, only this. How foolish to be afraid of nothing at all. Your defenses will not work, but you are in danger. You have no need of them. Recognize this, and they will disappear. And only then will you accept your real protection. How simply and how easily does time slip by for the teacher of God who has accepted his protection, and that he did before in the name of safety. All that he did before in the name of safety no longer interests him, for he is safe and knows it to be so. He is a guide who will not fail him. He need make no distinctions among the problems he perceives, for he to whom he turns with all of them recognizes no order of difficulty in resolving them. He is as safe in the present as he was before illusions were accepted into his mind, and as he will be when he has let them go. There is no difference in his state at different times and different places, because they are all one to God. This is his safety, and he has no need for more than this. Yet there will be temptations along the way the teacher of God has yet to travel, and he has need of reminding himself throughout the day of his protection. How can he do this, particularly during the time when his mind is occupied with external things like fearful thoughts? He can but try, and his success depends on his conviction that he will succeed. He must be sure success is not of him, but will be given him at any time, in any place, and circumstance he calls for it. There are times his certainty will waver, and the instant this occurs, he will return to earlier attempts to place reliance on himself alone. Forget not this is magic, and magic is a sorry substitute for true assistance. It is not good enough for God's teacher, because it is not good enough for God's son. The avoidance of magic is the avoidance of temptation, for all temptation is nothing more than the attempt to substitute another will for God's. These attempts may indeed seem frightening, but they are merely pathetic. They can have no effects, neither good nor bad, neither rewarding nor demanding sacrifice, healing nor destructive, quieting nor fearful. When all magic is recognized as merely nothing, the teacher of God has reached the most advanced state. All intermediate lessons will but lead to this, and bring the school nearer to recognition. For magic of any kind, in all forms, simply leads to nothing. Its powerlessness is the reason it can so easily be escaped. What has no effects can hardly terrify. There is no substitute for the will of God. In simple statement, it is to this fact that the teacher of God devotes his day. Each substitute he may accept as real can but deceive him. But he is safe from all deception if he so decides. Perhaps he needs to remember, God is with me. I cannot be deceived. Perhaps he prefers other words, or only one word, or none at all. Yet each temptation to accept magic as true must be abandoned through his recognition, and not that it is fearful, not that it is sinful, not that it is dangerous, but merely that it's meaningless. Rooted in sacrifice and separation, two aspects of one heir and no more. He merely chooses to give up all that he never had, and for this sacrifice is heaven restored to his awareness. Is this not an exchange you would want? The world would gladly make it if you knew it could be made. It is God's teachers who must teach it that it can. And so it is their function to make sure that they have learned it. No risk is possible throughout the day except to put your trust in magic, for it is only this that leads to pain. There is no will but God's. His teachers know this, know that this is so, and have learned that everything but this is magic. All belief in magic is maintained by just one simple-minded illusion, that it works. All through his training, every day and every hour and every minute and second, must God's teachers learn to recognize the forms of magic and perceive their meaninglessness. Fear is withdrawn from them, and so they go. And thus, the gate of heaven is reopened, and its light can shine again on an untroubled mind. Okay, so that was really deep, and I'm going to break it down for you, but that has to be the most amazing thing I've ever read. And let me tell you why. So, to me, magic is temptation, right? Our destructive thoughts, our behaviors. It could be anything for you. Do you drink over it? Do you have sex over it? Do you go out to the bar looking to hook up with people over it? Do you seek validation in other people's attention? That's something that I do, is I search for acceptance from external means. And what this is saying is that it's meaningless. You no longer have to think of those things as destructive, even though I know that we are biologically wired to think that they're bad and destructive and sinful. All you have to do is realize that it is magic and it is thus meaningless. So as soon as you recognize that it's meaningless, it has no power over you. It's no longer a fear because, one, you're releasing it into the universe. So as we release our fears into the universe, we're accepting that we do feel this way. I wouldn't be able to talk about this if I wasn't somehow led to wake up today and accept that I've been seeking attention from external means, and accept that sometimes I feel worthless, and I accept that I'm fearful that my business won't succeed. And I forgive myself for feeling that way. And I immediately release it into the universe. So with the law of attraction, when I release it into the universe and replace it with other thoughts like, what do I have? What am I abundant in? And I'm blessed to have the opportunity to work from home all day. And I'm blessed enough to be able to support myself in the way that I do, and I'm blessed of the individuals I have in my life, and that will be reflected back to you. So the universe always mirrors back to you what you're saying to it. But let me get my notes out so I don't miss any of the important things, because I want to give you guys some really simple, distinct steps that you can follow to manifest your own desires in your life. So the first step I already mentioned, and that's by accepting what your fearful thoughts are or what your limiting beliefs are, and then simply releasing it, forgiving yourself or whoever for feeling that way, or forgiving your ex for hurting you so much that you don't feel like you can trust anyone, and forgiving them for whatever experience that was, and releasing that situation into the universe. So for me, I forgive myself for feeling worthless, and I release my business to the universe. So you want to get really specific, because if you give the universe a bunch of mixed thoughts, it's going to reflect that back to you. It's going to send whatever your way, and you don't want that. This is a video about how to manifest your desires, and you have to pinpoint what your desire is. So, and that starts with leading to step 2, is thinking with love. So I want you to think of one specific thing that you want. So for me, it's independence. That's one specific thing that I want. So in order to go into this next step, we need to clear some more space. Like I was talking about, like the expert I read from A Course in Miracles, those fearful thoughts that we have come from our ego. So those, which, then in turns into the limiting beliefs that block you from getting what you want. So those limiting beliefs, what I'm trying to say is those fearful thoughts block you from getting your desires. So what I want you to do is, if you do have a notepad, or go ahead and grab one, we're going to write down what your limiting beliefs are. Okay. So here are what mine are. So since mine's specifically about my business, my limiting beliefs are, that I'll have to go back and get a day job because I won't be able to make enough money to buy a house, start a family. It could be, I'm not good enough to attract, my soulmate, or I'm not pretty enough to get a promotion at my job. So take some time, and I want you to write all your limiting beliefs down. Okay, so once you have them written down, I want you to look at them. I want you to say them to yourself and accept that you feel that way. Because what we've been doing is, we've been pushing and pushing, and we've been afraid to feel them, right? Because we think we're protecting ourselves from something, from the pain that those limiting beliefs will cause. But what we're really doing is we're blocking ourselves from our desires because we're not allowing ourselves to accept that we feel that way. So they're just there and there and there. So think of it as like a chair. You could be standing next to the chair, you could be sitting on the chair, you could be standing on the chair, but I want you to be the chair. So accept your limiting beliefs and feel them. So really consider what these limiting beliefs are doing for you. And think, where in your body do you feel your limiting belief? Is it in your chest? Your head? Does it feel raw, sticky, anxious? For me, it's in my head, and it feels really anxious, and I feel like I'm all over the place, and my wheels are turning, and then I just feel like I'm going to explode. Is there a color associated with it? So here's some things that come up for me when I think about it. Anxiety, disapproval, low self-worth, I'm not good enough. So you take those feelings, and wherever they are in your body, and I want you to breathe into that spot. So if it's in your head, just close your eyes and breathe in through your nose. Exhale through your mouth and release it. And whether that's in your chest, just breathe into wherever it is. So over the course of the next 30 days, what I want you to do is take a daily inventory of that feeling. Because y'all know that you're not going to watch this video and all of a sudden you're going to feel better, or it's going to go away. It's going to come up again. These feelings are going to come back. So I want you to take next time you have these, I'm not good enough, or I'm not pretty enough to get that promotion, recognize those feelings and take an inventory of those feelings. So take a daily inventory. Take a little notebook around with you throughout the day and write notes when that thought comes to you. What is it feeling like? Recognize, record, release. So here's what I want you to start with. Every time you write it down, after you write down those limiting beliefs, I want you to say this to yourself. I abandoned myself when I listened to my limiting belief. So I abandoned myself when I listened to my limiting belief. Now the third step, and this is the fun part, is we get to release it. So how do we do that? Like I mentioned before, our minds are trying to protect us from actually feeling with the fear or the lack if it doesn't work out. all of those thoughts are quote unquote trying to protect you, right? So the I'm not good enough, I'm not going to succeed in my business. Those fearful thoughts are us trying to protect ourselves from actually feeling, what if I don't succeed in my business? I'm a failure, you know? But what they're actually doing is blocking us. So the release is so simple, I swear. So just feel the feeling, whatever it is. Just let yourself feel the feeling so it can pass through you. So I'm not going to do well in my business. I feel that. And I let it pass through me. It isn't nearly as scary as what you were protecting yourself from when you do that. So those are some steps that you can use to manifest your desires and really get what you want in your life. And remember to stay specific because you don't want to confuse the universe. But practice the things that I talked about. And if anything was confusing, or if you want to message me and talk to me specifically about what your limiting beliefs are and you want to work through it, I can tailor it to whatever yours are. So feel free to email me at alexiswolfsonfitness@gmail.com or shoot me a Facebook message. I hope this wasn't too much for everyone, but if you did watch this and it resonated with you, or if it helped you, then I know that I made it for a reason, because it really helped me. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to cover. But yeah, I feel really good about finding this lecture from Gabrielle Bernstein and being able to share it, because there's so many people in my life that I can think of that could really, really use this video. And if there's someone that you think that it can resonate with or that it can help, then please, I would love for you to share it with them as well. So I hope everyone has a great day, and don't be so hard on yourself, because I promise you're worth it.